Hey, good afternoon and happy Martin Luther King Day to you. Welcome aboard for another curve flattening concert. I'm Raleigh Brown. It is 3 o'clock Eastern Time on a Monday afternoon. Pam Zappardino is the first one in. Hi, Zap. And Steve DeHaas is here from Northern California and asks, how is Charlie? Charlie is right behind me here in his sleeping mode. I don't think there's a camera that can get to him right now. And Rhonda Scott Merrick is here, and Debbie Moore, and Warren Bendler, and Ann Mintz. And I'm going to warm up a little bit while people trickle in. Mike Verbeek, hi buddy. And John Hubner, maybe Jeanette also. And Bob McKenna and Carol Pred. And Connie Copy, hi Connie, haven't seen you in a bit. And Charlie Bryant, my friend, thank you for that little contribution, buddy. And S.A. Tudhope is here. So today's concert, my plan was and remains that I will do music that was kind of on my playlist during the 80s. We've done the 60s, which was only 6 years because I started the guitar in 1964. And then we did the 70s last Monday, and now we're up to the 80s. But before we do that, so I'm going to do an extra song today. I wanted to do this one in honor of Martin Luther King, written by Gil Turner, who was a New York folk singer. There's a man beside me walking. There's a voice within me talking. There's a word that needs a saying. Carry it on. Carry it on. Carry it on. Carry it on. They will tell their lying stories, send their thugs to beat our bodies, and they will lock us in their prisons. Carry it on, carry it on, carry it on, carry it on. And all those thugs will lie rotten, all those lies will be forgotten. All their prison walls will crumble. Carry it on. Carry it on. Carry it on. Carry it on. And if you feel you can't go farther, take the hand of your sister or brother. Every victory leads to another. Carry it on. Carry it on. Carry it on. There's a man beside me walking. There's a voice within me talking. There's a word that needs a saying. Carry it on. Carry it on. Carry it on. carry it on. In honor of Martin Luther King's memory. So I'm going to switch guitars here. Trying not to disturb the little stretching, yawning dog down there on the floor. I'm wondering if I turn that. Yeah, you can't. You can just see just a little, that little bit of him there. That little speckled part. So let me do another little check-in here. It looks like lots of folks have come in. Terry St. James and Ronan Aretta and Connie Adams and S.A. Tudhope, Charlotte Cantrell, and Warren and Janelle, and Michael Tierson, Carol Pred, Deb Libby Clark, Margot Lemieux, Nancy Daynard, Steve Davidson, and let me see who I'm repeating twice. Christine Sand. Thank you, Christine. I think you might be new here now. And Ken Nashif is here with Oreo the dog. And Dave Van Allen. Hey, buddy. And Margot Lemieux, I said. And Bob McKenna, I said. Blah, 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 blah. And yes. Okay, and Ann Mintz says, what a beautiful thought I'm thinking concerning the great speckled dog. Yeah, that I think of him as the flop-eared prince, but the great speckled dog, that has a nice ring to it too. I set up the room today so that he could lay on his chair and you could still see him, but then he got off the chair, so what are you going to do? The next song I sing totally explains that. Well, I make a date for golf, and you can bet your life it rains. I try to have a party, and the guy upstairs complains. I guess I'll go through life just catching colds and missing trains. Everything happens to me. You know, I never missed a thing. I've had the measles and the mumps. And when I play an ace at cards, well, my partner always trumps. I guess I'm just a fool who never looks before he jumps. Everything happens to me. At first my heart thought you could end this jinx for me, that love would turn the trick to end despair. But now I just can't fool this head that thinks for me. I've mortgaged all my castles in the air. I telegraphed and telephoned. I sent an airmail special too. Your answer was goodbye, and there was even postage due. I fell in love just once, and then it had to be with you. Everything happens to me. at first my heart thought you could end this jinx for me, that love would turn the trick to end despair. But now I just can't fool this head that thinks for me. I've mortgaged all my castles in the air. I telegraphed and telephoned, I sent an airmail special too. Your answer was goodbye, and there was even postage due. I fell in love just once, then it had to be with you. Everything happens to me. Everything happens to me, and like usual, I forget who wrote that one, but it was recorded by many people: Billie Holiday, Nat King Cole, Chet Baker, and I learned it from Jack McGann. So the 80s, I know I learned that song in the 80s because I met Jack McGann in 1980 at a concert at International House. I was first introduced to him. I mean, I'd seen him that summer. I guess I'd met him that summer briefly at Clark Park in West Philly during a festival. Pardon me. And but I met him. I remember it was like Silly Wizard or Clannad or one of those concerts where the Cherry Tree rented out the big auditorium at International House. And Jack was there, and we were reintroduced, and that's when we really started becoming friends. So I learned that song from hearing him do it, and then at some point I recorded it, and Jack played lead guitar on it, and somewhere I have the tape of that, but I don't know where it is. Did I cloink you? I don't think I did. So here's a little cloink to you all. I welcome you. Anyhow, so that's the backstory of how I learned that song and why it occurs on the 80s portion of today's concert, or the 80s concert today of, you know what I mean. So next up, another thing I did in the 80s was I started studying jazz guitar. And I studied first with a really great Philadelphia jazz guitarist named Steve Giordano. And Steve was a terrific guitar player. He's still around, I think. And but at that time, he was going through a bunch of stuff, and the lessons got kind of uncoordinated. What's the word I'm looking for? They got kind of vague. So I quit then, and then a couple of years later, I started studying with Joseph Federico, and he was like bam, 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 you know, he got everything in line for me. And a lot of the kind of chord positions you see me use, and if you're a guitarist yourself, you may go, boy, that guy knows a lot of chords. I learned that whole system from Joe Federico. Very nice man, very nice guy. And he was in turn a disciple of a Philadelphia jazz icon, a guy named Dennis Sandoli, who was a guitarist but who taught a lot of different musicians, including John Coltrane, and a lot of the guitarists who came out of Philly, like Pat Martino and Jimmy Bruno and those guys. They all had some exposure to Dennis Sandoli's teaching style. And Federico was his last disciple, you know, before he passed. And that's more than you ever wanted to know about the Philadelphia guitar scene during the 80s. So let me see if I'm missing anybody here. Rich Laughlin is here, and Linda Pasqua Blaze, and Anybody else new? Dave Mason over in Scotland. Hi, Dave. Did I say hi to Steve Edelman? Hi, Steve. And Murray Callahan. Hi, Murray. So, Connie Copy knows Murray Callahan. Look for an interesting side conversation. So, while I was studying with Joe, I think I originally arranged this tune. This is a jazz standard that's it's not a great American songbook tune. In other words, didn't come from a Broadway show, and it's not by Gershwin or Irving Berlin or Cole Porter. It's by a guy named Duke Jordan, who is a jazz piano player, but among jazz musicians, it's a standard. And it's called Jordu. Jordu by Duke Jordan. And Judy Wong is in the house. Hi, Judy. And Mel Rivera, hello to you. And Warren and or Janelle say this one is familiar to me. It is on my Sunday morning CD. If you have that CD, then you've probably heard it, unless you bought the CD and never listened, in which case there's still time. In fact, even if you didn't buy the CD, there's still time to buy the CD. So, but I digress. So some announcements. The Invisibles, Linda Worster, Kate Mack, Kit Serikaku, and Judith Fox, and Bill Rubenstein, and Mike Stillman, and Joel Biget, and Mario Prue, who built this guitar. And I say hi to you, and of course, as always, there is a PayPal and Venmo link there. Hey, Carol Ann Muller is here. Hi, Carol Ann. And Mel Green as well. Good to see you, Mel. Thank you, S.A. I'm glad you love that CD. I'm very fond of that CD. It's probably the best recording I did of my, of my stuff. So, and other stuff too. It's not all original. It's got some of my favorite covers on it. So that takes care of that. The schedule today is Monday, and it's 3/21/22. And tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Cozy Sheridan and Charlie Koch will do their stream. And then I will be back on Wednesday at 3 p.m. And on Wednesday, I will try to have it together to know what's happening on Thursday through. I usually announce Thursday through Sunday because that's the next time I'm on after Wednesday. Although if any of you know you're going to be playing and you're on here right now, like Slim or Warren, feel free to announce it. Jordu is Jordu, and I assume he named it after himself, Duke Jordan. So he took the first syllable of his first name and his last name and flipped them. That's my guess, anyhow. Otherwise, it's a great coincidence that he named it Jordu. Okay, so this next one is Linda Worster's favorite, and it's a favorite of mine too, and it's one of the coolest Tom Waits songs. Tight slack-clad girls on the graveyard shift do the cement stroll, catch the midnight drift. Cigar chewing Charlie in his newspaper nest, grifting hot horse tips on who's running the best. And I'm blinded by the neon, don't try and change my tune. I thought I heard a saxophone, I'm drunk on the moon. Now the moon's a silver slipper, she's pouring champagne stars, and Broadway's like a serpent pulling shiny top-down cars. Larimer is teeming with that undulated beat as some Bonneville goes screaming its way wildly down the street. And I'm blinded by the neon, don't try and change my tune. I thought I heard a saxophone, I'm drunk on the moon. Hearts flutter and race, the moon is on the wane. Tarts mutter their dream hopes, the night will ordain. Come dancers and schemers, cherry delight. There's a Cleveland-bound greyhound, and it cuts through the night. And I've hocked all my yesterdays, don't try and change my tune. I thought I heard a saxophone, I'm drunk on the moon. Drunk on the Moon by Tom Waits. And where'd my picks go? They're hiding. Uh-oh. Oh, there's the other one. So, let me see if I missed anybody here. Meow. And Carol Pred said great selections today. So yeah, during the 80s was when I really started to. I felt like it was a time of great musical growth for me. I started to really branch out, and a lot of people who met me after that didn't even know that I had originally kind of been just a ragtime blues guitarist and playing Reverend Gary Davis stuff and stuff like that, and they thought of me as more of a jazz player in my own little limited scope, way, and so that was a great time for me, and I am. But I also did continue to play blues, and during the 80s, I would also consider this a big part of my kind of repertoire. This tune in particular, a Robert Johnson tune. Now the woman I love, I stole from my best friend. That joker got lucky, stole her back again. You'd better come on in my kitchen, 'cause it's bound to be raining outside. And the woman I love, she rode that southbound train. She's a married woman, love her just the same. You'd better come on in my kitchen, 'cause it's bound to be raining outside. All through the spring, all through the fall, just sitting here thinking about my all in all. You'd better come on in my kitchen, 'cause it's bound to be raining outside. Now when a woman get in trouble, there's no one wants her around. She be looking for a good friend, no one can be found. You'd better come on in my kitchen, 'cause it's bound to be raining outside. Yeah, the woman I love, I stole from my best friend. That joker got lucky, stole her back again. You'd better come on in my kitchen, 'cause it's bound to be raining outside. Yeah. So be happy and be healthy. Be brave and be calm. Be kind, it's a snap. And if you get cranky, take a nap. Thank you all for joining me. I love you guys. I'm going to just check. Debbie Daniels is now here, and Gene Galligan, a couple late reporters. They may have been here the whole time, and I didn't know it. Mel Rivera, I think I said hi to you, but in case I didn't. So and Susan Douglas, my buddy Susan Douglas up there in Massachusetts. And Jack Haas, too. And like that. Okay, thank you for joining me. I don't know if we can get a look at let me see what happens if I do this. If I do this, and then I do this, and then if I do that, there he is. I can't see what I'm doing here, but I think you see most of Charlie there. Anyhow, that's the best I can do. I'll see you guys. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.